Good afternoon, and welcome to Living with the Grain. And let's talk about growing pains, guys. 'Cause it sucks. It sucks when they happen, but the lessons learned from those are what resonate. That's where we remember those lessons. I hate them. I hate them when I'm in the moment. But then months later, I can reflect on something because of an experience I had that was painful or a growing pain. And I have a resolution for it. And I find that I really don't like conflict. I'm not a person to conflict, at least not like battlement ready, person to person. But with life, the way that the workflow, interviews come, interviews go, relationships work, our experiences, our education, they all contribute to growing pains, every one of them. You know, for the student, which we've all been, you know, I personally will always be a student to some degree. We get challenged. We get challenged in the things that we know, our beliefs, sometimes our faith. And what that does is it should make us think. Instead of, I think, the knee-jerk reaction of F that, this is my view and it's right. It should make us think. What else is out there? Why does this person think this way? You know, I really, personally, when I'm asked the question, why did this happen? It's almost like a slight. It means that I've made a mistake. Because a lot of the way that people ask why, it's not to get to the root of the question, it's derogatory of, you've made a mistake. Now, all that is besides the point. But there's other questions too. I really feel like, well, how did that happen? You know, yes, why did that happen is important, but how? Like, what caused it? It's not always the why. And if it's a challenge to where we don't know the response, we probably messed up somewhere. And it's going to be a growing pain. You know, as a musician, my growing pains were finding like my niche, somewhere I could fit in and try to grow within the music community I was within and kind of make my own statement. Now, I was just athletic at the point in time. I could do a lot of things a lot of musicians just could not do. The thing I lacked was a lot of the core skills that made them better than me. So it only lasted so long for a reason. No, but I've kept working, I've kept building. I'm much better than I was, you know, even back when I was actually doing it and had elbows to rub, had names I could drop. Man, that's crazy. It's crazy that I'm better now than I was 10 years ago because I've kept working at it. But could you imagine in whatever you're interested in, and you're going up this ramp of like, I understand a little bit, I get this, and all of a sudden it gets difficult. So what do? That's my question. What do you do? You know, I know some people, they drive in, they look at it deeper, they start figuring out ins and outs. And some people are able to kind of like take in the information and move on. I'd say that's actually the better person. But again, we're all different. So for me, I'm learning, I need a deep dive. I always need a deep dive. And then when I come back out and am surprised that I don't have all the answers, well, why would I have all the answers? I've only done a I guess that's my terminology for deep dive. But I've only done a deep dive for 6 weeks or something. I'm not an expert. I haven't put in the hours. So I have a lot of growing pains yet again. So let's associate hours put in to something where we think we've learned something versus someone that has been doing it for years, decades. They know more than we do. Period. You know, we may learn a trick or two that they may not know, but that definitely does not define our greatness. Our greatness, in my opinion, is done by growing pains, getting beat on the anvil of life. And it sucks, it hurts. But could you really, really imagine going through a growing pain that is incremental of a few weeks and then it's okay? But from that experience, you get to go up, and then you do it again. And then sometimes it gets downgraded a few steps. It's like, it is what it is. But the experiences we gain from the prior knowledge, the prior beatdown, that should keep you going. Yes, it's not necessarily easy. Easy? Is easy a word? But it's not easy. But I think sometimes we are way too weak. And not only as men, just as where we are right now, we're too weak. You know, we're not grasping for change the way that, you know, our parents did. When my parents wanted something, they went for it, and they sacrificed a lot. And I'm looking at the way that I look at things, and I have sacrificed a lot. I mean, I've even been homeless a few times. But I don't see people nowadays sacrificing for the easement of what they have. Like, if it's a growing pain, I'm not going to do it. So, growing pains are worth it. They're worth it. It's hard. Growing pains suck. But it's going to build you. Well, it's building me. Maybe because I understand it. Maybe because I understand what it is. And that's what I want people to start grasping, is that if you're going through something tough, life's going to beat you down. And if you lose to this moment, it doesn't mean you're not going to win to the next moment. But you got to keep going. You got to get up. and just be determined, because growing pains don't stop. They don't. Anyway, guys, hope I didn't beat you down with this. Just want to drive it in, want to drive that home, that, you know, life's real. And part of it is it beats you down and it gives you growing pains if you accept the challenge. It's also beautiful, man. It just, look at the trees behind me. To me, that's awesome. You know, the evening sky, there's so much to be grateful for. Don't get too focused on being beat down. And figure out how to learn tools to get around it. All right, guys. Don't take the beat down, and have a good afternoon.